Many millions of people in this world have lost their lives because of the pandemic. Each and every one of us have been touched by the loss of a family member, a relative, a near dear one, a friend. So to get a glimpse of what the world would be after we pass to the other side is intriguing, maybe even comforting in view of what Joan has to say later on. The great Sufi mystic Rumi put it this way. He said, "Only when the sun sets in the west can it rise in the east." What follows is my talk with Joan Fountain, my friend, a medium and healer, and she takes us to a journey of the soul, passing from the earth domain into the spirit world. Let us see what Joan has to say.
You know, a lot of people are scared about dying, and that stops them from living their lives properly. The fear of dying does create an obstacle in their living. What would you say to people that dying is not something to fear?
I know as you live your earth life, you can't imagine in your mind what death is like. So you have many fears that it could be like this or like that, but you still don't know. And it is because you don't know, you begin to be fearful. But I would like to say this, your fears are unnecessary, because when you, shall we say, slide into the other world and there are loved ones waiting for you, then you look at your earth life, and especially at that moment of passing from the earth to, shall we say, the happy lands, you begin to realize and say, what was there to fear? Why did I put myself into such a state when all I had to do was to close my eyes and loved ones were waiting there for me as I passed over, which was so peaceful, so lovely. And then as they stood waiting for me, they then took me then to a higher level where I was able to feel comfortable, and there were other people there, other, shall we say, loved ones. They were rejoicing at my passing, because to them, passing into, shall we say, a higher frame of land is a wonderful thing. It's a birthday, and that is how they treat it. As you pass from the earth and you go higher up, it's a birthday, because you take birth then in the higher regions, higher levels, higher energies. And when you get to the state where they help you to, shall we say, get used to the feeling, you feel so rejoiced. And you thought, what did I fear? Oh, I must go back and tell them, don't be frightened. There's nothing to be frightened about. And also, remember, while you're on earth, that you've got all these wonderful people waiting for you. So, you see, live your life on earth as happily as you can. But do remember that when you do pass, you are not alone, because all your loved ones are waiting for you. Now, if you've got that in your mind, live this life the best you can. Look at your thoughts so that your thoughts can govern your day, whether to lift you or to depress you. But I ask, let them lift you to a higher level. So please have that in your mind while you wake up in the morning. Don't have fearful thoughts. There's no need. All it is that you're making this life harder for you. And it shouldn't be that way. You should have a peace of mind to know that something lovely is at the end of this tunnel, and I'll tell you what it is. Not only loved ones there, but there's a beautiful light there waiting for you. So please remember, no fear. Live this life the best you can. And then when you get, shall we say, near the time of passing, you will find peace, light, and your wonderful friends there waiting for you.
Joan, you mentioned that we will get a chance to meet our loved ones. Are our loved ones our family in this physical life?
Yes, yes.
Or many families that you've had over many lives?
Oh, yes, yes.
All of them?
But more or less it's your recent family. Love. So it's got to be, shall we say, the ones that you knew on earth. When you pass over, all right, you will meet all those. But for the moment, it will be the nearest to you. Otherwise, you'd be a bit lost.
That's why people worry when they lose a near and dear one.
Yeah.
They worry again that they may not meet them or see them again. But this is not something they should be worried about. I'm thinking here about parents who lose their children young and then fear that they will never see them again or never meet them again. And that really is painful.
Yeah. Well, it is, you see. And our, shall we say, position on earth is to use certain words that won't shock them too much, but use certain words to say, oh, what a shame, because, you know, if you knew how wonderful it is to pass over when you die. Die sounds horrible, but it isn't. Die is a doorway, and you go through that doorway, and you go into another plateau of, oh, how wonderful it is here. Oh, you feel different. You are different. And your loved ones come forward then, and you embrace one another, and so joyful they are that their loved ones are nice and they're over.
And Joan, if you can glimpse in the life afterwards, can you attempt to describe what it might be? Is it possible to describe?
Yes.
The place where we're going to be when we pass?
Well, I would say this. If I passed over and my friends were there, after the jollifications of being together, they say, now, I'm going to lead you now. I'm going to lead you. There's somewhere we've got to take you. So I go along with them then, and we walk a certain distance, and I find that I pass all sorts of houses. Some looked good, some didn't, some looked horribly broken. But anyway, we passed all that. And then eventually we came to a wonderful part where the emanations coming from it was so peaceful, so peaceful. And there in front of me was a beautiful, beautiful house. And my loved one said, this is what you built while you were on earth. Every brick in that house is all the good deeds that you did. and every brick has gone into that house to make it as you've, in your mind, visualized what this kind of house is. And when I looked properly, yes, I had those houses in my dreams, yes. And they said, well, you built it by your thoughts and your good deeds on earth.
And people really worry about whether they would go to heaven or they'd go to hell. And
now,
can you say what that really means?
what it means is that if you've lived a good life, you will find that there will be a companion there, a spiritual companion, is therefore advising you, supporting you, and helping you. There also is another companion there. And he also has got a duty of taking you on another lower path. When you arrive at this particular spot, of course, you've seen your house, but this particular guide will take you then away from it, because you are, shall we say, you've also got a mission in spirit. But when you are there, you'll find that the other one, because of the deeds that they did, which was not good at all, was taken away. And he saw all sorts of lovely houses, beautiful, one house and another house, all beautiful. And then suddenly they weren't quite so beautiful. And he came across a house that was all broken down. And he said, what is this? And the guide said, that is your house. That is what you've built while you were on earth by the deeds that you did and your thoughts. That is what you have built.
And is that a permanent home for them, or will they come out of this into a more enlightened house once they've served their time, or do they come back to earth?
Well, no. What happens here is that they have to live in that house. It depends on how fed up they are. When they are fed up, a little light will come because they're wanting more. They're not happy in this house. And they've got this kind of light coming to them. And that's when you get the angel of light would come and guide him then a little higher and higher away from that. Meantime, as his, shall we say, the energies are going higher, he's changing. And he realized, why did he get himself into that state? And by the time he got to the level, a good level, he began to realize all his thoughts, all his feelings, and he realized what a bad man he was, because he wasn't really not here. So the angel of light said to him, you have been brought to this particular place so that you would truly understand why you had that house. If now you continually, shall we say, accept this lovely light that's within you, which there is a light within you, if you can do that and say, I've got a light, it's there, you'll find all of a sudden you are aware of the light because you keep repeating it, and the light is there. And once the light is there, that light is the light of God, and then you'll be guided in the right way, to the right guide, and to the right level.